Oi, oi. Afternoon. I'm about to find out how good Chris Slix's head is. Would you like to comment, Katie?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment. I don't need. No. I just need to know that.
On that bombshell. Right, so these are his heads. They're all stripped, and I wanted to show you how we set valves up and sort of pick springs and what's going on. We've got inlet valve, we've got valve stem seal, right? But that is also the spring seat, okay?
Yep.
Then we've got the retainer, and then we've obviously got the two keepers. Now, things to note, it's a conical spring, so can you see at the top it tapers in?
Yes, yes.
So you get beehive springs, which look like a beehive, or look like a barrel.
Ready or not, here comes science.
Yeah. You get conical, which kind of do that, and then you obviously get parallel. So V10 R8 ones are like that, or VW ones are like that. You get quite that 4G63 stuff, like Evo stuff, they were always beehives, and then conical. Now, the reason you start to move towards this is because the shorter, this is going to be what the point of this was, the shorter you essentially make your spring, to fit in the spring package, you've either got to remove coils, or you've got to bring the coils closer together if you need the pressure. So material and coils make your spring pressure, and then what you're trying to do then is basically fit it all inside the head.
Yep.
Now, Dave at Head Games in America is much better at this than I am because they specialise in heads. So if I'm doing a shit job at this, go and watch Dave's videos. But that's essentially what you've got inside your head, right? Ignore this seal, ignore the spring seat because I don't want to push it down over the valve. So now we have what's called an installed height. So that's our free height or free length. Then when it's compressed, because notice you always have to compress it to get it in the head, we get what's called our installed height. So that's your pressure on the seat. So that's an X value. So there is obviously, let's do it on that one, right? So this is how I would measure springs out. And if I can get the dang-fangled computer to work, I'll show you on a spring compressor. So, right, when it's free and it's open in the air, we've obviously got 0, no pressure, nothing there, right?
Yeah.
But we've got a free length. So 45.6 mil, right? That's our free length. Okay? So then if we go installed, and I'll show you how we work out our installed height, we will now have, because we've applied a pressure, we've applied a pressure, we'll have a height and then a pressure at the seat. Yeah, so
Makes
what
sense.
we would do then is we would put in a spring compressor, take it down to installed height, and then that will give us X. That will give us our value. So again, our installed, we'll have a distance, and our pressure. So if we go installed height, so I want height, H and P, all right? And then we'll have max lift. So again, it will be based off your cam and your roller rocker. Don't forget to take your rocker ratio into it if you've got rockers. So we'll have a max height and then a pressure at max height, and then we'll have basically coil bind. So you don't really have a pressure at coil bind, because coil bind is when you've compressed it so much that all the coils are touching and you're in bind. So you won't have a pressure for that, but you will have a value. And then the gap between those values is really important. So you don't want it so tight that you're literally sat off bind, because you can run into bind, but you don't want it so open that you can get bounce. So as you start to ramp it, when you then take the pressure back off, you don't want it to just carry on going past it and then come back.
Yep.
Mickey Sensey?
Yes.
Good, because it's not in my head. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I'm going to install that spring and show you how we measure it before and after.
Sounds like a plan.
So there's no point me showing you how we install it, so I'll just install it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Can you see the relationship difference between the two. So that one, the valve tip is ever so slightly proud of the retainer. That one, it's below the tip of the retainer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to measure the difference, and I'm going to show you how we work it out. The thing we have to remember is there's no seat platform in, so we have to add that into our equations. So we can give you an accurate number, because essentially both of the base of both of those springs is X higher, X equals spring seat platform. Right, to the observatory. It's not an equals, all right? I'm going to do it in a different pen because that is really going to mess up with my mathematics brain. Right.
Ready or not, here comes science. They might be giants, here comes science.
Okay. Yes, there's special gauges you can get for doing this, which looks like a bolt with a fucking thing on it, and you put it in and it takes the place of the spring. So I know all that stuff. I like a hard life, so leave me alone. But you can get essentially a tool that replaces that gives you, basically set it and it tells you what your height is.
Yep.
We're going to do old school way.
We don't want to do that.
Nope. Nope. So make sure you're zeroed. There is room for error in every measurement, but essentially what you're trying to do is go square on top of the valve. So I've got 0.6 of a mil, and you've got to remember as well, it's got a cutout. So make sure you do it right way, or you'll get weird measurements. 0.59 is 0.6 both sides, okay? So that is 0.6 of a mil. So X equals 0.6 mil. All right.
We have our first figure.
We have our first figure. Y for Y, keeps for Y. All right. Same jiggle. So again, this one's easier because you can balance it across the retainer. Don't go squeezing down on it though. 6 mil. The bit you have to remember with this measurement is we have to add the seat base on. So it's 5.97 mil. Mm-hmm. For ease of reference, we're going to call it 6 mil. Okay, now adding my seat base, adding my spring seat in this side doesn't change that measurement. All I do is I change the spring, that, because it doesn't matter. I'm measuring the distance that the retainer is sat at when it's installed on a valve. Yep. So it doesn't matter there, but it does matter here, because what I haven't done is, what I've got to do is add that on the top. Yeah, so what's actually missing is yeah, so we have to, that's the measurement we want, because what I've got to do there is if I add this on, I lift my retainer up further from the bottom of the valve.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm 1.04 mil. Okay. All right. So that number is actually 7.04 mil. Okay. Now you've got to think. So if the retainer was proud of the spring, of the stem of the valve, sorry, you'd take those numbers away.
Yep.
But it's not, it's below. So the retainer is below the tip of the valve. So we need to add that distance and that distance together. So we got 7.64 mil. Okay, so our installed height on our inlet, that's inlet only, exhaust is different. Our installed height is 45.6 minus 7.64. 45.6 minus 7.64. It's 37.96 mil. Oh, I knew it was a 7.
Nice one, Vorderman.
Okay. So now what I do is I tell my machine what these measurements are. We just do there, 7.64, because I can't remember whether it's that number I got put in or that number I put in, but that's inlet. That's how you measure installed height. We've achieved something.
We have.
We're halfway there.
The whiteboard's looking good.
Yeah, looks like a mess.
We have some science-y, mathsy thing.
Right, so now what we essentially need to do is we need to take our 45.6 mil spring and compress it to 37.96 mil, or compress it 7.64. Yeah?
Yep.
And then measure what that pressure is at that length, at that compression, at that distance, at that fucking height. I don't know, pick a word.
Yeah.
Right? But that's why we measure value, so we can, that's then our installed height, okay? Then what we do is, we would work out, now you've got to be careful, if it's direct drive, so if a cam is acting on this, right? So, retainer, cam bucket, with a shim in or a hydraulic tappet, and then a cam, it's a rubbish cam. Yeah, you can measure your base circle X and Y, yeah? So you take Y, you minus X, that's your lift. Yeah, so that's, oh, fucking hell, it's not that number, it's that number, dickhead. So you take Y, minus your base circle, and you get your lift. Mm-hmm. That's then your lift, right? Where you get a problem, or where you have to take into account your roller rocker, and this is where sometimes you've got to spend a bit of time with a DTI gauge. So in this instance, on a McLaren, it's like that, and your cam acts like that.
Right.
So now I'm not direct drive, so I have a ratio involved between those 3 points that you have to work out. Yeah, so the same as a V10. Oh, Davey, I haven't got one.
Ah.
So a V10 one is obviously, you've got your tappet with your ball on the top, and then your arm clips off, and you get your little undercarry, and it sits like that with a needle roller in it, yeah? And then, sorry, it's bigger in it because it's a wheel. And then your cam runs on that. So I know what they are. They're like 1.16 or something like that.
Yeah.
So your ratio, or 1.61, something like that. So you for every 1 mil of movement at your cam, your output is different. That's your roller rocker ratio. So we have to work it out on the McLaren to know what our max lift is. To be fair, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a full sweep from free length to coil bind.
Yep.
And then I'll know what it is. And then once I'm built, because I'll have a graph of mil by mil by mil by mil and what my pressures are, then I'll know where my max sits by my distance, because I can work it out on dial gauge. No?
There's a lot to this.
Yeah. Should we try and get that fangled dangled machine working?
Let's do it. We have computerings.
So we've gone through, we've set the machine up, yeah? So I'll do that, change it to one step. Let's change it to 0.5, we've got a lot of data points then. Open height. So I've put my retainer thickness in, my seated height, a rough guesstimate of my open height. Remember, this is from 0, so the taller the spring, the higher the number. Mm-hmm. We've got 1 cylinder to test, number of intake valves, but I tell you what, let's do number of cylinders to test. We'll do 4, and we'll do 2 valves a cylinder, and we'll run a load over and over and over. And we're smooth data with bind. I'm sure I've got. So we click OK. Make sure you want to make this change. All right, and then what we'll do here is, so we've got intake 1, intake 1B. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to put spring in.
Let's have a look at this quickly. So here's the contraption.
2, 3.
Spring goes in there.
4, 5. Just all right. Shut the door. Like a so. Hit record. And just go record. I'll do it again now, and you can record that. So record this screen. So what are we on now? We're intake 1B. All right. Swap spring. Right. Watch the screen on this one, and I'll do it again, and you can do the. Okay. Right. And then this one. So we're now exhaust 1. This is going to screw our numbers up, but we'll be all right. Watch the little tool. Right. Four. Five. Okay, that's enough data. One more. Right. So just go close this. So now look, we get our data. So we're in half mil increments, and then that's the pressure in kilos. And then this is what we get on a graph. So if you were trying to balance the springs out now, you would say 1A is the weakest, because if I start rolling through the trends, 1B is the best. Exhaust 1, or to call it 2A, 2B. Yeah, you can start to see your trend across your spring, but 1A is the weakest, looks like to be the weakest spring. So we should be able to, we can graph that. There you go.
Wow.
So that's all my springs.
So you're always going to have a weaker spring.
There'll always be one that's weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's a case of changing what you want, and then we can also report it as well. Then. So now you start to get the information out for your springs, so that you can see what your bind height is. So you're seated. Where's seated? Seated force. 23 kilos, 24 kilos, 24 kilos, 24 kilos. So the first one, look, we're almost 1.8 kilos low. Yeah. So if I had a big set of them, I'd try to group them as tightly as I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your bind is 14.4 mil. Look. You got it? So if we go back to our spreadsheet or back to our whiteboard, yeah. So at our installed height, we've got seated force is 24.6 kilos. Yeah. We obviously don't know these now until we've done our measurements with our cams in, but we know our coil bind is 14.4 mil. All right.
Yeah.
So now what we would do is, once I've got it built up, I'd put a DTI on the retainer.
Yep.
I'd turn it to max lift on the cam, and I'd measure how much I've moved. So I know what my base circle is, I know what my max lift on my cam is, and then I would look at how much my valve sweeps. How much my valve sweeps. And I would measure it.
Okay.
All right. And that gives us everything we need to know then about our spring package. Then you need a smart person to go, oh yeah, I need a bigger gap, or I need more pressure, or I need this, or I need that. But this is just OEM stuff. So the reason I've run through this as well is obviously chatting to Dave at Head Games. He wants to come up with a solution for McLarens, because we obviously know the springs are not, they're not up to the job everybody's trying to do.
Rightio, yeah.
Do you remember my old wheel, my turny wheel?
I do.
My intercomp wheel? What I just did then would take me an hour, because I would turn it a mil, write a number down. Turn it a mil, write a number down. Turn it a mil, write a number down. Whereas that, look, Dav.
Put it in your magic box.
Results and shit, isn't it, bruv? Record, F1. Give me some numbers. There you go. What more do you want out of life?
We have data,
Yeah.
but then you've got a record of everything, haven't you? So you can trace
Then
back.
I go into engine logbook and I go, I know what spring in what cylinder. So obviously, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So cylinder 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 4A, 4B.
Yep.
I know exactly what spring goes in what cylinder.
Yep.
All right. And then if you want to get really, 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 really Gucci, you mark your springs. So then when you strip your engine, you know that, that spring went in that cylinder. So I know what goes in. And then when I do GT3 refreshes and I take them out, I know what comes out.
Yep.
And that's the levels we play to. Because, you know, what else are you going to do? Because I'm a bottom feeder, mate, and this is how bottom feeders work. So the assembly of the head is actually the easy bit. In the same way that the assembly of the engine is the easy bit.
Well,
I don't get me wrong, I am not good at this. This is that on its own is another level.
Yeah.
From an engine builder point of view, I would classify myself as a jack of all trades, because when you get to top level, you have one person that specializes in one thing. You have one person that specializes in one thing.
Right.
You have that, because that is just springs, mate. There's fucking companies out there that just do valve springs, nothing else. That's all they do. So that's how in-depth you can go. Like everything, coatings, bearings, lubricants.
Yeah.
That's how far you can go. So, yeah. Don't forget that's in there. Lost a spring for ages once. Why would I ever look that it's in the spring testing machine?
Of course.
Yeah. And that all gets put into the logbook, but then it lets us understand. For me, that's always a big number, but the relationship between those two for me is the most important. Yes, you need to understand your spring pressure between installed and max height, but if you're going to start pushing cookies, the relationship between those two, because you don't know whether you're sat on coil bind or not, and especially when you start shimming springs, because that was always the cheap way of doing it, or the easy way of doing it, is you essentially stack washers under springs. You make shims and you stack springs under them.
Yeah.
So that then gives you more pressure at your installed height, but tightens those two numbers right up, or moves them past each other.
Yeah.
So you can pull valve trains apart that have been hitting on coil bind, and the springs have got wear marks in them. The valve train's beating the shit. So this is where now, low end stuff, not so much, but when you start getting into big high power stuff, especially when you get in pro mod, where they're using ridiculous numbers, it's just, you can just pull engines to destroy engines just by getting a valve train wrong. I mean, the big drag stuff, they bend push rods. So that's how much pressure they're running.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you don't, go check out Head Games, David Head Games. He's far smarter than me on this stuff. Yeah, so he's a good geeky watch like us.
Cool.
And he's mad box of frogs.
That's what we like.
So you can have a wander around. There's some nice fancy brake discs on the car we need to have a look at.
Let's do it.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I'll just road test it.
All right, cool. Drives all right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
If you wanted to see it. Like,
No. Yeah, I'll see him out. So this is a Gen 2 that Tom's. Look at the big air guide. We can rip that. I'm thinking about mine. Surface transform discs.
They look pretty special.
They look pretty cool, don't they?
Yeah.
So they are another level on from the OEM ones. So they're more motorsport derived. But also, Tom's put in Nitron R1s on it as well. Yeah, so it's having, it's got the new R1 EDC kit on it. So this is, yeah, look, the Nitron Electron.
Oh.
So this has got
Remotely
a
adjustable chisel.
yeah, but it's also got like an IMU on it. So we've got to wire that in as well. So Tom's got to do that. New discs have gone on.
Yep.
Yeah, surface transforms. I can't remember. Has he got RSC ones going on it?
Sorry?
Pads.
I've not got pads for it.
Right. Okay.
I know what that is.
Yeah. Can't remember what else you're doing.
Full service.
Front diff service, brake fluid change with RBF 700, Howard X oil, wheel alignments, we'll have to get our shim packs out, spark plugs, service, air filters, yeah, replace discs with surface transforms, then suspension with coilovers, and we do a setup. And then we've got to do his TPMS sensors as well, because I think he's got different wheels on, he's got no sensors
Oh,
on.
the wheels are here, look. Apex.
Apex.
Ah.
But they are 19s, not 18s.
Who might want a set of these, I wonder?
I do want a set of it, but I want a set of 18s.
Yep. For your track.
Which is, Nene is currently taking to get a half cage put in.
Okay. So
So
we'll
it's
be able
gone
to.
to SW Motorsport.
So we can give an update on the R8 soon.
Yes. So he's driving that up there at the minute. Well, he's not. He's driving and crying because his X5 broke.
Oh dear. He loved that X5.
So there's right behind a shit car. Even Tom, ex-BMW, went, yeah, I'm not helping you with that, mate.
What you stand for?
Hey?
What you stand for?
Broken more than working. Yeah, there's another one behind you. Fucking hell, she's starting renting out ramp space. Yeah, so he's on with that, so it looks quite cool. He's just got to finish the wiring off. Yeah, I don't think there's pads in the front, is there, Tom? Because I've gone for the RSC 3s, but I really, 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 really want to set these.
These look remarkably expensive.
Motorsporty. Yeah. And I've just, so for mine, all my air ducts have turned up. So I've got new air ducts, new front ducts, the aircon condensers.
Yep.
The Audi Sport anti-roll bar to go on it. And then I need to get some drop links made, some adjustable drop links made.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to copy a set for me, let me know. Because obviously it's getting lowered. So it's going on coilovers, so you ideally want adjustable drop links.
Yeah, of course.
What else have we got going on? Matt is pretty much got this back together, so you can see the fuel system in the corner. So that's got big pumps in the tank now, fuel pressure regulator, and then uprated rails for all the fuelings. And then he's pretty much just got to put charge coolers back on, which we've had modified to put boost sensors in. And then he's putting the inside back together. But I think at the minute you're trying to take out his
out.
boost control, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then Carl's got his old job back.
What's my old job?
Yeah, well, I don't know. RS6 specialist.
You've done them all, haven't you?
There's 5 over there. Is there 5 over there? There's more. There's just more of them.
They're just
Yeah, no.
unemployed. Work on R6.
Ow. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Carl. Always a pleasure to see you with your realism. And then Mitchell is done exhaust,
Quick silver. Just about. See it in there.
oil pump, seals, and a few other things, haven't you?
Rear view camera. Because this one decided to
Melt.
melt its wiring. So I've got to replace that terminal.
Yep.
A few other wires. Because it was pinched behind the bumper. Someone did a good job last time.
And that's about it, I think. Much else? No. Just about there.
What about your fancy new table over there?
Yeah, so my friend gave me these. Friends!
Best friends.
Best friends! Proper kill you if they fall on you tables.
Ooh.
Measuring tables.
That is solid.
Yeah.
Is that granite?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a chunky bit of.
All adjustable. I haven't leveled them up yet, which is why they don't sit.
Yep.
but they is heavy. When a pallet truck groans, mate, you know they're...
Yep.
Yeah. So
this-
the rest of the week now is to get the Ferrari, Deans and the McLaren in a place ready to be sorted. And we're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's taking shape.
it's getting there slowly, mate.
Yeah.
We had the open day Saturday for our group. So we had a bit of a tidy up, but it's a working workshop, but it was nice to sort of get there. And then,
I'll drop a little clip of that in because I know Kate
Yeah.
filmed a little bit.
yeah, she got some bits and I can just get cracking on in here. So that's about it, mate, I think. Anything to add?
Not really. I think that's covered it.
Yep, my bike's gone to Spain. I'll put a picture up. I'll give you a picture so you can put it in.
Okay.
Looks Gucci.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you going to join it soon?
Till I crash it? Yeah, I go Thursday morning.
Right.
Thursday morning.
So we better film something tomorrow then.
Or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. I
Yes.
don't know what we do.
Dunno. Whatever comes to us.
Yeah, I know. We do fly by the seat of our pants, don't we, Dav?
Yes. We are going to stop planning stuff.
I know. Right. You happy?
Happy?
They're never happy.
No.
It's tea time.
Let's do it.
Right. Is this the intro or are we actually in a vid now?
I've lost complete track of
I don't know what he's going to do with this. Me and Dav were wondering why the window has no glass.
It has got glass.
Yeah, but it's bathroom
Because I
glass.
don't want to have to look at them dickheads out there.
And then, so why did you put a window in?
Hey? To let natural light in.
There is no natural light.
So-
And also, should there not be one there
What?
to make it match?
No. Don't start. Don't start.
I told you. I
Don't
shouldn't
start.
ask that question because it'll upset him.
I didn't want it to not have a window because then it just looks like you haven't got a window.
Okay. Anyway, Chris Slix engine.
Yeah, anyway, Chris Slix.
People complain you talk too much.
Yeah, and apparently we're bottom feeders that are
Oh,
name
yeah, I
dropping
did
him,
see
aren't we?
that.
Right, okay.
I call these videos bottom feeders.
Yeah. No, these YouTubers, they're bottom feeders.
Oh, yeah,
They just take the
YouTubers.
piss out of the real YouTubers. We're having diffs,
Not right now.
Dav's myth. This is all Rob's fault. He made me get in an ice bath, and now my head's a mess.
Did you actually get it?
Yeah.
I really wanted to take a photo, but he wouldn't let me.
What was it like?
Cold.
Getting in was fine. And no. The build up to, so basically, for those of you who don't know, a really good friend of mine has said, oh, try these new ice baths. They're good for you. They help sort of your cortisol and your dopamine and stuff like that.
Getting old.
Rick has no cortisol.
You're getting old,
surprisingly.
dickhead. Everybody's getting old. And I got in at 6:45. Literally, that was hard.
Yeah.
No, the shock
I bet.
more than anything. The shivering after what did I do? 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
Really? Yeah.
First time, yeah. The shivering was uncontrollable. Honestly, that is shivering like a shitting dog. That was. But it absolutely, like when you go on Oblivion and you go over the edge and you do that, and you can't breathe in anymore. It was like that.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. No.
I won't be trying it. I'll just be a spectator.
Yeah. So that's all right. We see how it goes.
Small wiener syndrome as well.
I got that anyway. So nothing to worry about there, is it?
You're like that, me.
Yeah, but you're all hair. Right, can I get on some work now? You asked all the
I never-
questions.
I
You ask questions, and then we
just
go.
asked
You
one
know I
question.
go
You went
off.
on a tangent.
You know I ADHD. Labeling me, fuckers.
you should label yourself.
You always say always ADHD in again. Is that Juden? ADHD in again. No. It is. Tell him to come down here. Fucking hell, Dab, honestly. Right. Hey, it's not my fault. I started by changing the light in the front porch and I ended up sweeping the driveway. I don't know how that happened, but it's just what happened.
Did you actually start it?
Hey? Yeah, because I noticed some stuff on the driveway when I went to get the tools to do the light, so I swept the driveway. Because there was stuff on the driveway.
Shiny,
and then,
shiny.
Yeah, it literally was. And then at the end of it, I'm like that. Oh. It's good job Kate didn't see this. Right, can I get on
Yes,
with some
yeah,
work
Chris
now?
Slix
Thanks.
engine.
You lot.
Thank you.
Oh, Chris Slix head.
Head. Yeah, Chris has got great head.
Right, we're 7 minutes 25 seconds
Oh, you're going to have to cut that down. Yeah, right. This is a valve. That's a spring. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.
in. Done.